Dobrodošli u novu epizodu emisije Nova diplomatija. Danas imamo tu čast i zadovoljstvo da nas ugosti gospođa koja je možda više umetnik nego diplomata, ako smem to da kažem. Lugon Mulen, prva žena na čelu ambasade Švajcarske u Srbiji i u Crnoj Gori. Švajcarska, kakva je to zemlja? Poznata po preciznim satovima, ukusnoj čokoladi, nepogrešivoj bankarskoj stabilnosti, ali i nečemu što nas u Srbiji intrigira. Švajcarski standard. Zašto smo mi nekada štedeli u švajcarcima, a kredite doživljavali kao posebnu vrstu izazova? Možda danas dobijemo odgovore na ta pitanja ili će jednostavno ostati u prošlosti gde im je i mesto. I kako kaže švajcarska izreka, strpljenje je ključ radosti. A ja ću probati na nemačkom. Geduld ist der Schlüssel zur Freude. Sa ambasadorkom ćemo razgovarati o tome kako strpljenje i preciznost doprinose diplomatiji, o doprinosu švajcarskih kompanija, našoj ekonomiji, kao i toj čuvenoj srpskoj dijaspori koja u Švajcarskoj gradi mostove između dve kulture, a to je san svakog diplomate da i on bude graditelj mostova među narodima. Pridružite nam se u razgovoru o diplomatiji, o ekonomiji i o kulturi, ali i o tome šta Srbiju i Švajcarsku povezuje, od neutralnosti do saradnje u modernim izazovima i u ovim više nego turbulentnim vremenima, slobodno mogu tako da kažem. Dobrodošli! Guten Tag.
Guten Tag. Wie geht's?
Okay, wie geht's? Ivana, my name is Ivana. As you know, we spoke. Yes, Your Excellency. So you have a beautiful garden and I guess a beautiful house, and I'm really ready, prepared for this interview.
Please,
okay.
Do come inside.
Thank you. How do I say in German, welcome to my house?
Willkommen in meinem Haus. Willkommen, welcome, willkommen.
Willkommen in my house. It's a combination of German and English. Poštovana ambasadorko, Lugon Mulen, dobrodošli u Srbiju i Crnu Goru. Dobrodošli kao prva žena koju Švajcarska šalje u naše krajeve. S obzirom na vašu bogatu karijeru i iskustvo širom sveta, s obzirom na to da ste bili u Africi, da svirate klavir, da pišete, da uživate u životu, ja se izuzetno radujem ovoj našoj saradnji i želim vam bogatu saradnju i da pamtite Srbiju samo po dobro.
Thank you very much for your kind words. Thank you. I'm very happy to be posted in Belgrade now for 4 months. It's been very intense, very interesting indeed.
Perfect. Kažu, tamo gde ima volje, ima i načina. Švajcarska nam je toliko puta pokazala da uvek nađe način da bude vodeća zemlja u regionu. Šta je to što možemo mi da naučimo od vas?
Thanks very much for that question. Indeed, I mean, we are well placed in Serbia, a very good economic footprint, scientific and innovation. Our two countries are linked by those two topics. Large diaspora, well integrated in both countries, cultural exchanges. So the Swiss spirit, what is it? I think it's mostly innovative ideas and the ability to implement them and efficiency in the way we implement our ideas. And that has made the success of our land, of our country. A century ago, Switzerland was very poor. My grandparents from my father's side, they had to migrate because they couldn't feed their children properly in the earlier 20th century. And that situation has changed because we have invested in our brains. This is the only recipe for success, I think. It's investing in people, in education and the brain of people. And I think Serbia has done already this in the past, is also doing it now. And this is a very strong linkages between our two countries, because we are both well aware of the importance of having well-educated, scientific people, innovative people who can bring countries forward. And in my work, I work with the same spirit. New ideas, implementing them quickly and efficiently, so that, because the world is going quickly and we are on a market where everyone competes with each other. So we have to be quick and bring new ideas on the ground.
So as you mentioned, so investing in brain, what do we do in life if the heart is saying something that is opposite than the brain?
Well, that's a psychological question. I'm not a psychiatrist by background, but it has to be the two to tango. It cannot be only the brain, it has to be also the heart. But following only one's heart is not enough when you have to lead a country and to bring a country further. You have to have a vision, and it's the same in diplomacy. You have to have a vision, and this is strategic. And then, of course, if you are motivated by what you're doing, you bring your heart along. And I think this is the beauty of this job, is that you have both. You are committed to developing the relationship, in my particular case, between Switzerland and Serbia, and later Montenegro. And you do this with a vision according to all the stakeholders you have around you who have also an interest in that.
Perfect, so it has to be a teamwork, heart and the brain together.
Yes.
Švajcarska i Srbija dele status vojno neutralnih zemalja. Postoji li prostor za intenzivniju saradnju u oblasti neutralnosti? U ovom slučaju mislim posebno na OEBS i partnerstvo za mir. Znate, Vaša ekscelencijo, naša prošlost nam ukazuje da ratovi ne donose ništa dobro, da ratovi zapravo ne rešavaju konflikte. Uvek moramo da razmišljamo i o uzročno-posledičnim odnosima. Generacije koje pristižu takođe osjećaju prošlosti i posledice rata. Švajcarska u jednu ruku može da se smatra i srećnom, jer sve kroz šta je Evropa prošla u 20. veku, Švajcarska je ostala pošteđena velikih ratova. To predstavlja neverovatnu privilegiju.
Indeed, and what I can say regarding our cooperation between Serbia and Switzerland, that we have very well cooperated in 2014 and 2015, when both Serbia and Switzerland had consecutive chairmanship of the OSCE. We were chairman in 2014 and Serbia in 2015, and those years were years of intensive collaboration. And within NATO, we are partnering together within the Partnership for Peace. We have also funded projects on conventional ammunition management with Serbia, so there are room where we can work together. And I think we are open to any collaboration. Even now in Serbia, we are funding the OSCE in certain governance areas with what they are doing in Serbia. So there are room where we can definitely put our hands together.
Yes, and we always need to work on peace. So when the world is changing, we need to have methods to conceive peace between all those things happened, like in Balkan in the 19th. As well, you've been here, you've been to Serbia, you've been to the whole region 15 years ago. So from this perspective now, what have changed?
Well, I think what is really visible is economic development. I mean, this is impressive. I haven't turned again to the other Balkan countries since I am in Belgrade. I have stayed in Belgrade. I never had the time to go elsewhere in the region. But I was really impressed by the impressive development of the country and of Belgrade. And I think even though the region still has challenges inherited from the past, I mean, the situation has improved, and the EU accession is also a way that unifies all countries, even though it's not easy to go through this process. But I think things are moving on, and I could really see this after 16 years back in the region. Yes, but I was only traveling at the time. I was not living in the region. I was traveling for my work.
U Švajcarskoj živi značajan broj Srba, veliki broj Srba, odnosno građana sa srpskim poreklom. Pronašla sam tekst koji ću citirati. U pitanju je švajcarski Weltwoche kao jedan od retkih nezavisnih medija u Švajcarskoj i u Nemačkoj. Dakle, u Švajcarskoj živi nešto manje od 60.000 državljana Srbije, a broj pravoslavnih Srba, zajedno sa velikim brojem osoba koje su uzele državljanstvo Švajcarske, procenjuje se oko 150.000 ljudi. Svi oni jesu ili su bili poštovani kao veoma sposobna radna snaga i predstavljaju mostograditelje u službi jačanja saradnje između Švajcarske i Srbije, zaključuje ovaj švajcarski list. Kako vidite njihovu ulogu u jačanju odnosa između naših zemalja?
There are more than 60,000 Serbs in Switzerland. Most of them are binationals by now. And we have 4,000 Swiss citizens here, but also most of them binationals. And this builds very strong bondages between the two countries. And this diaspora in Switzerland, the Serbian diaspora, is well educated, well integrated, holds very good position in the society, be it in the medical sector, health sector, ICT, a lot of engineers in ICT, owners of companies, owners of startup, who then also choose to invest back in Serbia or the other way around. That we really see now in the ICT digitalization and artificial intelligence realm, that the Serbian diaspora is really making, almost sometimes commuting between the two countries because they're opening branches in Switzerland and then in Belgrade. There was this week the Global Summit on Artificial Intelligence, Global Partnership on Artificial Intelligence, here hosted by the Serbian government, and there were indeed some Swiss-Serbian startup invited at this conference. So I think that shows how strong those linkages with them when it comes to a high-tech technological sector in the society. But these bonds, these linkages, they also exist in the cultural sector and in other sectors of the society. And this is the richness of also the beauty of this work, is that you have also to deal with such a diverse and successful diaspora on both sides of the equation. And that's very nice. We also see that some people of the Serbian diaspora, they come back to live now in Serbia. I have people in the embassy who were previously grown up in Switzerland, started their professional life in Switzerland, and from one day decided to go to Serbia and live there. They are now working at the Swiss embassy. So that is very a good asset, a very important asset in the relationship between Serbia and Switzerland.
Very important asset as well is that somehow Serbians that they live in Switzerland, they're not forgetting about the roots. They're not forgetting about the religion, about the language. You know, they are keeping that in a family, but they do live in Switzerland, and they are always. I know because I do have really close friends that they live in Switzerland, so they are coming back, let's say, to Serbia for a summer vacation or winter vacation. But for them, like the kids is as well, they are speaking two languages. You know, so let's say it's not the same. Like people from here, when they leave Serbia, when they go to, let's say, US or Australia or some other countries, I think that the bond is not that strong. That for the people from Serbia, that they do live in Switzerland.
Because we are close geographically. Mm-hmm. In a way, also culturally. I mean, 1,000 kilometers, a bit more, is not a lot. I mean, so you have in the summertime, you have 8 flights, direct flights from Belgrade to either Zurich, Geneva or Basel. So that helps people to move, to go back for vacation, come back to Switzerland, go maybe send the kids to some summer camp here, come back. And that is helping the Serbian diaspora or the Swiss diaspora here to keep their roots with both sides. And I think that's a richness. It's very nice to see this.
Indeed. Sada ćemo govoriti o švajcarskoj administraciji i o švajcarskom sistemu. Švajcarska ima 7 ministarstava, a Srbija i dalje više od 20. Da li je to razlog što je švajcarska administracija, ako mogu tako da kažem, efikasnija možda? Šta je to što mi možemo da naučimo od Švajcarske u tom smislu? I po državnom uređenju Švajcarska se bazira na federalizmu. Dakle, šta to znači? Problemi se rešavaju tamo gde su najbliži realnom životu ljudi. Znači, klasična bottom-up švajcarska strategija. Nastojite na tome i uvek govorite da sve treba da bude transparentno, da sve treba da bude što bliže ljudima i što realnije. I da je to jedini pravi način da se problemi rešavaju. Da li i na koji način i mi to možemo možda da usvojimo?
Yeah, you've touched on two very specific aspects of Switzerland. One is federalism system, and the other one is direct democracy. And this is very special. I'm not sure that I can say this should be replicated 100% in another country. This is like this because it's the results of our history. It's the results of the way Switzerland was built. You've said this is the only one of the words I understood, bottom up. We were built, region by region, who decided to put themselves, build an alliance together. At the beginning, 700 years ago, it was only 3 cantons. Now we are more. Within 700 years, we built our country from bottom to the top. The central level of the state was built only in the mid of the 19th century. Before that, every canton has its own currency, for example. So the last one to be built was the central state. So it's not by chance. It's just not like this that Switzerland one day decided to be federalist. No, it's because we were built this way. The cantons have a lot of power. The municipalities, the cities, and the villages have a lot of power. The fiscal decentralization is extremely telling. 40% of the overall taxes of the country are raised at canton level, 40% at municipal local level, and only 20% at central state level. So that shows you that most of the state duties, police, health, education, you name it, is the canton or the local level which is responsible for that. It's not the central state. So that's a very specific model. It has proven to be successful. So I would tell others, look at us, of course. But to replicate the model, I'm not sure. It has to be tailor-made to the history, to the culture of the people to make it successful. But it's certainly a source of inspiration. Now with direct democracy, you've spoken about civil society and transparency. The fact is, the last say in Switzerland comes back to the people because basically any citizen, any group of citizens who has a good idea or sometimes bad idea, if they collect enough signatures, they can put their ideas into votes and people have to vote. And we usually vote 4 times a year on any kind of issues, either brought by the government itself or by some group of people or by political parties. So that is, of course, a very special. I don't think it exists elsewhere in the world where people have to express themselves so many times during the year. It helps the political life because people know what's going on. They debate among themselves. They know what the ideas is. They have the feeling they can also participate and create the public life, the political life, by bringing ideas on the table. But then, of course, if things are voted for or against, the government has to follow it, to follow what has been decided by the people. We don't have a constitutional court. The last word comes to the people. The whole system is a model of power sharing between central, cantonal, and municipal level, power sharing between 3 to 4 linguistic regions, power sharing between what were our religion in the history, and yeah, it's a special model. We like it and it does function, but yeah.
So is that kind of system good for a stable government?
Oh, our executive members, you've mentioned the 7 ministers, they are elected by the parliament every 4 years. And usually they do 2, 3 to 4 terms. So the executive power at the central level is very stable in Switzerland. They stay, all of these seven ministers or members, federal councillor as we call them, they stay at the minimum for 2 terms. So it is stable, yes.
So I guess the sharing is caring. Sharing is caring. So if everyone share their problems, that means that that we can say that Switzerland is taking care about the people in the country.
Yes, I think we are well aware that we have to stick together and that our country has the same importance in a big city or in a small village in mountain. And both have to be treated somehow equally. And that has helped a lot with regard to economic development, of course.
Voljela bih i da govorimo o ekonomskoj saradnji, ali i o investicijama. Švajcarska je jedna od prvih zemalja, jedan od najvažnijih investitora u Srbiji. To traje već duže od 30 godina. Na koji način vi vidite dalje unapređenje naših ekonomskih veza između naše dve zemlje?
Indeed, the economic figures are looking good. In 2021, we were even the first foreign direct investor in Serbia, according to the National Bank of Serbia. We are now ranking within the 6 first countries. We have, I think, more than 1 billion, 1.2 billion euros exchange of goods per year. And we are the 4th country worldwide in foreign direct, when it comes to ICT, exchange of services with Serbia, we're the fourth one. So that shows our position. Foreign direct investment is always ranking high. It creates a lot of jobs. And I think the prospects are good. I'm hearing more and more from Swiss entrepreneurs the word of nearshoring in the Balkan countries. And of course, Serbia comes first when it comes to nearshoring some of the Swiss companies to the Balkan countries. Serbia is the most evident one and the most welcoming and successful one. So there will be more investment in the future, I'm sure. And for us in the embassy, it is an important pillar of our work to explain the conditions in Serbia, to accompany some of those new enterprises coming, giving them visibility if they need. The big ones may not need visibility from us, but the smaller one maybe. So that's definitely something important. Next week, we have the first Swiss-Serbia Innovation Forum, and there will be Swiss enterprise present at the Palace of Serbia during one day, along with Serbian companies.
Your Excellency, so you mentioned the visibility. Would it be for us, Serbia maybe would be more visible if we would be part of the family, if we would be part of the European Union?
You know, we have an international cooperation program of 20 million Swiss francs, equivalent to 20 million euros per year in this country, precisely to accompany Serbia on its EU accession path. So we are definitely in favor of Serbia joining the EU. We are doing this also in other countries in the Balkan. Despite the fact that we are not in the EU, this is a specific model that we have with the EU. We have 120 treaties with them, so it's not that we are totally outside, not at all. But we see value in Serbia joining the EU, but this is up to Serbia to make that things happen and to decide when exactly this will be feasible.
Već 30 godina Švajcarska pruža podršku Srbiji kroz razne projekte. Da li postoji neki projekat koji vam je posebno drag i pošto ste vi sada na početku ovog mandata, da li imate neke posebne planove koji biste sada u ovom trenutku podelili sa nama?
Indeed, we started in the aftermath of the war. At the time, as you can imagine, it was humanitarian aid and infrastructure rebuilding. That has left a good legacy, a good memory of Switzerland, that we've been there when it was really needed. And over the years, this program of international cooperation has evolved into now an innovation fostering program, governance fostering program. You know, we have moved to other kind of topics. And what is in my heart, I mean, I'm an economist by background, so of course, what is linked to innovation, helping startup, fostering SMEs to work better and to make better business here, energy efficiency that we're also helping in some municipal infrastructures. This is really, I think, core domains where Switzerland will remain active in the near future. We are in the process of negotiating a new phase of our new innovation program with the Swiss Technological Park in Belgrade, with the Ministry of Technology and Science, with private sector. So, I mean, this will for sure be one of the core mandate of us. Energy efficiency, urban development, sustainable urban development, and local governance. You've mentioned the federalist system. We are having here projects in local governance, also in digitalized local governance, and we will see whether we pursue this thing. This work has been going on for 12 years. It was very important. It has reached some results. Now we will do some strategic thinking next year and design the next program for the next 4 years as of January next year.
Samo da objasnimo našim gledalcima, kada govorimo o digitalizaciji koju Švajcarska uvodi, kod nas postoji pravilo da nama uvek fali onaj jedan papir, a sa digitalizacijom papiri nam više neće ni biti potrebni i Švajcarska na tome radi ne samo u Beogradu, već i u drugim gradovima i opštinama.
Indeed, we worked on 2 levels in digitalization. At the central level, we did a portal where you can have all the expenditures by the Ministry of Finance being disclosed for the parliamentarians. This is at central level. At local level, we did a lot, but I'm not sure I can be exhaustive here. One is on the property tax. We have made a kind of a manual of all procedures to be followed electronically at local level. We have done also some kind of one-stop shop for certain procedures in certain municipalities. We are definitely working on those areas at local governance because it helps citizens. In Switzerland as well, we have seen progress in that areas and we know that it's worthwhile to look at.
Thank you for that. Da li smatrate da je za švajcarske diplomate poseban izazov dolazak na Balkan? S obzirom na složene i na istorijske činjenice koje su iza nas i na konflikte koji su se dešavali i s obzirom na trenutnu situaciju, ne samo kod nas, nego i u regionu.
It's a nice challenge. And it's a very good posting. I mean, from Switzerland being posted in Belgrade, it's, as I said, most important country in the Balkan region. Switzerland, when in the 90s opened its doors to the refugees from former Yugoslavia to come in Switzerland, this is how we got all these diasporas, successful diasporas now in our country. We are proud of it. I was a bit more than 20 years old when, unfortunately, you had that very difficult history in the war in the 90s. And I remember that. And with those memories and the pictures I had seen at that time, I'm coming back now with a real role in this society, in my society, to serve my country for the interest of both countries. And it's a privilege. It's a privilege 30 years later to be here, to see the evolution, the positive developments, and to be able to very modestly shape a little bit what's happening between the two countries. And I'm proud, and I have also emotions when I think about it. It's beautiful. And I think looking at the EU, maybe the path towards the EU, even though we are not a member, of course, my will and my wish, I should say, I don't have a will in that matter, but my wish would be that the country like Serbia would join rapidly the EU. I think it would really make sense. I feel like I am in Europe, and Switzerland is also in Europe, not in the EU, but we're all on the European continent at large. And the stronger the continent is, the better it is for all of us.
Za kraj ovog našeg intervjua i zvaničnog dela ovoga razgovora imam jedno neformalno pitanje koje je izuzetno ozbiljno i zaista, Vaša ekscelencijo, morate da pazite kako odgovarate na ovo pitanje. Srpski burek ili švajcarski fondu ili nešto treće?
Serbian dried meat and all these meats that you have as a starter. I love them. So this is really, really great. Now you have a great traditional cuisine. You have a great food. When it comes to Swiss food, okay, you're going to taste some raclette later on. Very traditional. This is, for us, we were all shepherds. So we were living in the mountains. I myself come from a village in the mountain. My ancestors were just melting cheese on the fire. So this is Swiss traditional food. It's very, very, very simple. But thank God, we are now one of the most successful countries on the European continent when it comes to gastronomic food, having per 1,000 inhabitants a very high number of qualified starred chefs, chef with stars from Michelin or Gourmet Menu, all these food, these high cuisine rewards. So I think our traditional cuisine has also evolved very much, as is yours. You have a wide variety of things marvelous things to eat, and I'm discovering them day by day since the beginning of my stay here.
Perfect. So raclette and rakia, can they go together or?
Yeah, we do have some kind of local rakia, we call it, with the raclette or fondue. Even with fondue is better. In the middle of the fondue, we usually do a small break and we drink a little bit of local Swiss rakia and then continue with the fondue.
Vaša ekscelencijo, hvala vam za ovaj oficijalni deo našeg razgovora. Zaista vam želimo mnogo uspeha i jednu saradnju koju nikada nećete moći da zaboravite. Dakle, jednoga dana kada se vratite u Švajcarsku, vi ćete reći da, to je kruna moje karijere, to što sam bila u Srbiji.
For sure. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay, I think that Swiss cheese is calling us.
Indeed, raclette. So it's a very traditional dish. What you need is a very good cheese. Raclette done only in one part of Switzerland, and somebody who knows how to take the cheese out, the melted cheese, out of the big piece. So you just take a plate, a potato, the peel of the potato has to be there, and then some pickles later. And you see, he will just get the cheese down.
It has a special kind of smell.
A very good smell. You see, it's a little bit grilled. It's perfect. And then some pickles with it. And some good white wine from Switzerland. Usually from my canton of origin. This is all from my canton, Valais.
And you added pepper as well?
Yes, if you want to, yes.
Okay, I will try, thank you. But as you remember, I asked you raclette or burek. Have you tried burek?
I've tried burek. But I'm very attached to my roots. So,
okay.
I mean, as Swiss ambassador, I told you in the interview, dried meat, Serbian dried meat is my best, but I love this.
So you like pečenica, cold cuts, correct?
Yes.
Okay, I'm ready to try this. And it's time for music. So for the entire experience, I will eat cheese, and Your Excellency, you can play some perfect music for us?
I can play some piano for you, for sure.
Okay, I will let you know for the taste.
So have chosen to play the Gradus ad Parnassum from Debussy. It's the story of a girl who has to exercise a piano play and she's getting bored. So she's improvising in the middle of the play. And then she realizes that she has to go back to the initial play and she'd start again and she's rushing towards the end, and then she goes. So I'm going to play the end of the play where you have the little girl rushing into the music and getting off.
Your Excellency, this garden, it's beautiful. It's an asset of the house.
Indeed, and it was designed by my predecessor during the war. Because he couldn't work properly, like in the peacetime. And during the war, he was actually designing and building this garden, this ambassador. So we owe him a lot because it's beautiful. This is where we have our National Day celebration every 1st of August. The overall, the crowd is there, dispersed in the garden. It's beautiful.
I did see a map there on the ground, so there is a lot of hidden things that you cannot see it straight away.
Yeah, apparently every part of the garden has its own history, according to my predecessor of the 90s, yes. Yeah, there is a whole book inside in the residence. I have to look at it carefully to know all the details and the hidden details of this garden.
Yes. So can you feel the history when you're here in this house?
The Swiss Confederation owned the house since 1965, so it has already a bit of half century. It's been ours, and it's nice to know that we've been here for such a long time, and now it's my turn. After all my predecessors, my main predecessors.
When I'm walking through this garden, I do feel like a princess in some way. So, but a modern one, I think. It's kind of like hide and seek.
Indeed, indeed.
Playing piano, that's such an amazing skill. And as well, as you mentioned when we started the interview, I said that there should be someone who will write a book about your life and your traveling and everything. But Your Excellency, you're a writer as well. How did it start? Like, when did it start?
Oh, I always liked to write. I had some poems published, and in 2010 I published a fiction book in France. But my latest book is about a natural improvement vision method. Yeah, if you cannot get your eyes operated and you are very short-sighted, what can you do naturally with your eyes? And I have implemented the natural improvement method on my eyes during 2 years with very good results. And then I have explained that method and my experience in the book.
So
it was published in Switzerland and in France 3 years ago.
Is it like a self-healing or?
No, it's a method that was developed 100 years ago by an American optometrist, doctor, which I have applied with discipline and interest during 2 years, and I have improved by 60% my eye acuity, visual acuity by 60%. It's a lot.
It's amazing. And then you mentioned that you are writing poems as well.
In the past, I'm
The
still
past.
is, but they have not been published. But in the past, they have been published. Yeah, no. I mean, writing has always been part of my life. Yeah,
If-
a little bit.
If I can kindly ask you to share maybe some part of, or some words or some sentences, because it's quite a romantic here, you see, and we're here in this part of the garden, so
I can't. I can't by heart. I can't. Sorry, I can't.
is it about a love? Is it about a...
I have many topics, but frankly speaking, I cannot say now a few sentences. No, I'm not learning by heart what I'm writing.
Yes, but you know why is it like that? Because all poems, I'm sure, came from your heart. So we cannot share that easy love here by words. Yeah, but I'm sure that I will have a chance to read a little bit, and then I can tell to my viewers and everyone who is watching this. So, what kind of love for books is that? Your Excellency, thank you for all the lessons.
Thank you for
life
your-
lessons that we learned today.
Thank you.
Once again, I'm wishing you all the best.
Thank you very much.
So-
You too.
Maybe for the end, maybe you do have some kind of greetings for Serbian people, or the sentence or something that is particularly inspiring you in the New Year's time.
Well, I've been impressed and thrilled by the energy, you know, and the vibration that I feel in this city and in this country. Lots of energy is in the people, in the air, and I think the best is to keep this energy high, to keep the spirit high for the next year, and everything I think will go well for every one of us.
Yeah, so we need to have hope and love and teamwork. As you said, we need to combine what brain is saying and the heart. So it is teamwork at the end of the day.
Yes.
Thank you for piano, and thank
you
you
very
for
much.
raclette. And see you some other time, maybe on cevapi or burek.
Sure. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you.
Thank
It's been
you.
a pleasure.
Poštovani gledaoci, razgovor sa ambasadorkom Lugon Mulen podsjetio nas je zašto Švajcarska važi za zemlju stabilnosti i inovacije. Ova zemlja pokazuje da male, precizne promjene donose velike rezultate, a njen pristup ekonomiji i diplomatiji može biti inspiracija i nama. Razgovarali smo o mnogim problemima koji potresaju Balkan, razgovarali smo o neutralnosti, digitalizaciji, a i o švajcarskom modelu koji Srbiji pruža prilike za unapređenje na mnogim poljima. I kao što Švajcarci vole da kažu, oni su uvek tačni, oni su uvek organizovani. Ja ću sada da pogledam koliko ima sati. Moj sat nije švajcarski, jeste srpski, ali gde god da krenem, ja stižem na vreme. Do sledeće epizode i do neke naredne avanture. Pratite koliko ima sati, molim vas, budite organizovani.